Welcome everyone to Conscious Crypto Traders. We are so excited at today's interview. In today's interview, we'll be talking about what will become one of the most historical events in the world. I'm here with colleague Nicola Grace. You'll be learning about the three most important things you need to be a successful crypto investor. So before we get going, don't forget to hit the like button, turn it blue, subscribe, click the bell, and choose all. I'm here today with Rob from Digital Asset News. Rob with Digital Asset News has close to 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. Yay! Hey. Real estate investor, small business owner, and digital asset investor since 2017. Nicola and I are both huge fans of your channel. So happy to have you here today, Rob. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, ladies. Thanks for watching the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, let's just dive in. Tell us about your background and what made you get into cryptocurrency trading.
This is where everything started from, which was the Army. So I was in the Army for 8 glorious years, and I got to be a 91 Bravo, 91B, which is a combat medic. You know, run around, save people, that type of thing. And then after that, I went into nursing, health field, health sciences, became a director of nursing. But there was a point when I realized that it wasn't really a great idea to trade all my time for money. I wanted something to do to where I could just have some type of income and when I was actually sleeping. So got into starting businesses, property investment, land investment. And then when cryptocurrency came around, that was when it all kind of took off. Funny story, my son actually came up to me in 2012. He goes, "Hey, I got this great opportunity." I'm like, "All right, let's hear it." He goes, "I got 500 Bitcoin in this hard drive that this kid can sell us for $500. So imagine that. You have $1 per Bitcoin. And I looked at him, I go, "Well, explain to me what Bitcoin is." And he tried to do it. And I go, "That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. That will never work. It'll get banned by the governments." You know, all the same things that we hear right now. And I turned him down. And of course, off it goes. And then around 2017, when everybody seemed to get in, that's when I said, you know what, maybe there's something to it. And of course, I invested right near the top where I made all my mistakes and chaos ensued. So that's like my little background into crypto and digital assets.
Awesome. But you've gone on to do really well. In fact, you've participated in what I believe is going to be a most historical meeting recently, and maybe greater, I think, really, than the 1927 meeting of Albert Einstein and Niels Bohr to discuss the non-existence of objective reality. I'm talking, of course, the historical meeting with Michael Saylor and billionaires and corporations to discuss Bitcoin and adding it to their bottom line. So were you aware that you were participating in a historical event, and what was that like?
So, well, first of all, it's in the old days, what it would be is like a conference, and you would have to pay through the nose to go to the conference, and it'd be live in some central location. You have to go there and get the information. Now with COVID, the spread of COVID-19, everything has changed. Now it was all Zoom. It was 100% free. Anybody could attend. So I was like, well, sure, I'd like to be there and see exactly what's going on. And it was interesting because you had the keynote speaker, which was Michael Saylor. You had the CFO, the COO, and a lot of different people who were there to really network online for all different products that they have. And I thought it was interesting because, first of all, you could kind of tell who was there, but not really who really big was there and who was attending. Because, you know, you're not going to have like the CEO of, let's say, Elon Musk. I'm sure he didn't have time to maybe attend that. Maybe he just had somebody else there and then he got all the information. And what was great was that after each presentation, there was a download, a PDF, which pretty much gave you a Bitcoin playbook, which was like, hey, this is what you need to look out for. These are the things that when and how you should invest. These are the companies that you should get into, Coinbase, Kraken, all the different exchanges that will help you do these micro transactions so you don't move the market. Here are the different tax reasons and the repercussions. It was a very well thought out plan, not just for the organizations that were there, but for MicroStrategy in general to go, hey, this is everything you need. Now go buy Bitcoin. We bought Bitcoin, be in the club. And that was pretty much it. And then of course, off we go.
Wow, brilliant.
Oh yeah, real smart.
What was your biggest takeaway from that event? Like something that you went away with and go, okay, I got to act on this.
So the big thing is that, well, there was a couple things. First, I thought how amazing this time is that if this would have happened in 2017 with the magnificent bull run that we had, what would have happened, back then? Well, now it kind of carries over into these institutions. So it's a complex answer, because when you take a look at it, you're like, well, now there's all these corporations and there's all these institutions. They want to put it on their books and they want to do really great things with it. So there's a couple things like, well, first of all, does that mean that Bitcoin will stabilize because so many people will buy into it and it will never go down? And then the second thing is who is actually going to get into it and actually believe into it and not actually sell it when you start to see like these different trends? Because remember, these corporations aren't used to the volatility that we are, right? 10% a day is awful on the traditional market. We call that a Thursday here. We don't care. So when all these different things happen, you're like, well, what could potentially happen? So my takeaway was this. I know institutions were going to get into it. I know they were going to, some were going, like I said in the video, my video, some were going to move fast. Some had already done their due diligence. Some were just waiting for the playbook to be given to them, and they were going to buy up Bitcoin massively. There's other people on the sidelines, and there a very few, well, maybe not very few, but a bunch of people probably like, you know what, our corporations, this isn't for us. It's just too volatile. So I thought it was going to move the market afterwards, and thus it did. And then of course, Elon Musk came out and said, hey, we're buying 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. And then off we go. So the next question I had, which was this: with all these institutions and corporations coming in, putting on their balance, pensions, hedge funds, treasuries, will that mean that Bitcoin will stabilize forever, or will at some point it will go down? That is the big question.
Yeah, wouldn't we all like to know the answer to that one? Yeah.
We'd all like to know. If I knew that, I'd have maybe, I don't know, more followers. Who knows?
Rob, we've often heard you talk about 3 things you must have to exit this next bull run cycle in 2021. Tell us what the first most prominent of those 3 things is.
I will tell you this. What is it that Warren Buffett says? You don't have to, you have to learn from mistakes, but they don't have to be your mistakes. So learn from my mistakes. So here's what you need to know. First of all, when I got in 2017, you know that big, nice little hockey stick that goes all the way up and it's called FOMO and people start to buy in? Well, that was me. I bought right around there. So you have to understand that this market doesn't move like a traditional market. So you have to make sure that the timing is correct. So if you think that, you know what, it'll be no big deal, I'll just wait for it to go up and keep going up and keep going up. The timing is the big thing. Between the last, in 2013, when we hit an all-time high, it took about 3 to 4 weeks before it really dumped like 60%, 70%. In 2017 to 2018, December to January, about the same thing, around 3 to 4 weeks before it dumped massively because there was just too much FOMO. The smart money knew exactly what was happening. This is unsustainable, and they dropped all the way down. So what you really have to know is that once these go up all the way like this, if you're trying to do that, because everybody's goal is different. If you're trying to really maximize, then you've got a very short window before everything goes down. And that's really the first part of it. And again, everybody's got their own goals. My goals are different than a lot of my subscribers. And I'm sure, ladies, your goals for cryptocurrencies might be different than mine.
Yeah, we have some great goals, which we'll tell you about towards the end. So the second thing that you say that we need, I think you can't do the first thing successfully unless you have the second thing, which are a certain psychological factors. So what are those psychological factors?
This is a perfect, I did a video of this today, and it was, and I started off and I said, look, everybody, I know you're worried. I know you feel like this is the worst time of all time because you're in cryptocurrency and it just dropped. I mean, Bitcoin went from almost 60,000 to around 50,300 and something, right? And that's just Bitcoin. And then we saw some alts go 15% loss, 20%, 25% loss. So people who are new to this place, like we all were at some point, we freak out, right? We look at this and we're like, oh, I got to get out of this. This is crazy because this is not going to work and I got to get out. So the first thing you have to realize is that these huge dips are normal. If you don't like the price, just wait around a little bit. It's like the weather in Houston. If you don't like the temperature, just wait, it'll change. And you just have to realize that what goes up will eventually come down. And then, of course, what is unstable will at some point trade sideways and even increase. So you haven't lost anything unless you sell. And this is not financial advice on this channel. Obviously, we're just here for entertainment purposes only, right? But
Yes.
but you haven't lost anything until you sell. And I think some of the best advice I ever got, again, from Warren Buffett, just dollar cost average. And if you want to go all in heavy, like my friend Diddy from the Bitcoin family, you can do that, but you got to make sure it's at the right time. My friend Diddy went in 2017 at the very beginning. If you can time it like that, hats off to you. God bless, Godspeed. But for me, I'm not that smart. Dollar cost average, and you don't feel that pressure when these days come about. You're just like, oh, well, it's a little bit lower. That means I get a sale. And then when it goes up, oh, great, my portfolio is up. I'm feeling pretty good. And it takes the pressure off. So psychological factors.
Great.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are waiting for the next big bear cycle to go in heavy, right?
Yes, exactly.
So the third thing is the actual exit strategy that you talk about, right? And what you need to have to make the most of the cycle. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So it's just us. I'll just tell you guys a secret. I am not that great at taking profits. I'm actually very horrible. I did really good at understanding that just to not dump all my cash in at the very top. I figured that out. Fantastic. I learned to dollar cost average or value cost average as time went over, just every day, put a little bit into a project you truly believe in. The problem though comes down to an exit strategy, which is, when do I take this money out? When do I do it? Can I time it when I hit the top? Well, good luck with that, because I can tell you the smartest people out there, they don't hit those tops. And maybe it's just dumb luck. So for me, I always think to myself, where could this go realistically? So on January 7th, I put out my price predictions for all the different cryptocurrencies, digital assets that I hold. Newsflash, I'm very biased on my channel. I only talk about the things that I actually buy. And one of those was Bitcoin. I said, I think Bitcoin this year, if we look at the different 4-year cycles, we had 2012 was a halving, 2013 all-time high, 2014 was a dip, 2015 reset. 2016, we had a halving, 2017 all-time high, 2018 dip, 2019 reset. 2020 halving, 2021 should be an all-time high. And then 2022, somewhere around there, should be the big reset. So I think that Bitcoin will fall after it hits around 150,000, goes that big hockey stick. So along that way, certain price points that I think, I'm going to take profits. So I know at 20,000, I think it was like 5% profits. And then around 35,000, I took another 5%. 50,000, I think it was like 10%. And then off I go. And that's just it. Some people will say, Rob, you're an idiot. You don't understand, because all the institutions are here and that it will never go down. And I'm just here to tell you that I heard that same song and dance last time. There wasn't many institutions, but I will just say this, that as long as there are greedy people, and as long as there are whales and people who like to manipulate, and people who are beholden to their stockholders, I think at some point they will sell, especially when it does that.
Yeah. Speaking of greed, FOMO and greed can be really seductive, right? I don't know if you've studied any of the work of the scientists that talk about the molecules of emotion being addictive chemicals in our system. But yeah. I've certainly had that experience where I can feel that it doesn't matter what my rational mind says, those emotions of FOMO and greed can really suck you in, right? And you try to wait to get as much profit as possible, which I think I'm the opposite of you. And then of course you miss it, right? All of a sudden the phone rings and you miss it. So in the last bull run, many people got wrecked because of fear and FOMO. When do you actually think we will see the top? You said somewhere around 2021, 22. Do you think it's the end of the year, like most people are talking about?
I think so. This is a conversation we and Alex Mascioli have. Alex Mascioli's got another channel. He's head of institutional services at Bequant. And I had him on the show and I talked to him about, these hedge funds that he deals with, these billion-dollar hedge funds. And I go, Alex, do you believe that this is going to just just sustain. These institutions are not going to sell. He goes, you don't understand. He goes, there's some true believers like a Michael Saylor, and now it looks like an Elon Musk. He goes, but the majority are here to make a profit. And at some point, they're going to sell. So the question is when? Well, if we all know about the 4-year cycles we just talked about, and everybody kind of talks about these things as far as November, December, repeating out, it seems like if we want to talk about energy and people thinking about the same things and being in the same mindset, then all of a sudden it becomes a reality, even though it may not really have to be. So with these types of instances, we'd say, well, maybe in December it's going to fall. I'm not smart enough to figure that out. I just know that if I have my exit strategy and I stick to my plan, like Jocko Willink says, discipline is freedom. So if I keep the discipline, I go there, I'm going to miss out on gains. That's okay. Because if I don't do it, the greed will take me over. And before you know it, I won't sell because I'm like, no, I can do it again. It's going to never go down.
Yeah.
That's where I think.
Yeah, I think that's a really good philosophy.
Beautiful. So Rob, let me take you back to the very early days of trading for you. How did you make your first $1,000 turn into $10,000 when you first got started, and how long did it take you?
Oh, it was super simple. All I did was just pick some low cap gem that was going to go to 1,000x, and I put all my money into it. No, I'm just kidding. So usually this is what happens. And I just talked about this today. This is crazy. So we're talking about traders, and for you listening out there right now, you're watching this. These ladies have really good head on their shoulders. They know what's going on. They understand cryptocurrency. You're going to go and find a bunch of cryptocurrency channels, and they're going to be talking, and they're going to be hyping everything up. And there's going to be some technicals, and they're going to talk about, if Ethereum is going to 30,000 tomorrow, just buy this and buy that. And it really doesn't work like that. Traders, there are very few traders, and this is a fact, statistical fact, very few day traders that really nail it and get it right. And I always compare it to like my friend Johnny when I lived in Las Vegas. Johnny was a gambler, and I'd always ask him, Johnny, how you doing in poker? Because he'd always go to the tournaments. He goes, oh man, I remember one time he said, oh man, I'm up like $10,000. I'm like, that's great. You were sucking. What happened? He's like, I killed it on Tuesday. I'm like, well, what happened on the weekend? Oh, I lost 30,000. But I mean, this Tuesday was awesome. And it's the same type of thing, I think, for some of these traders. They're like, you know what? I've got this great play, and I'll make a bunch of money. For me, to make my first 10,000 is very simple. I'm very boring. I just dollar cost average. I look at a project. I don't invest in hype so much. I invest in people. And I invest in the people that I think are going to push this thing to the next level. I invest in teams. I invest in the vision. I invest in the white paper, the backers behind it. And that's how I kind of choose my projects. So all I would do is I would just dollar cost average every day. I'd put $50 into Bitcoin. And sometimes it would be $100 a week or whatever it was. And then I would just let it ride. And I've been dollar cost averaging since I got stuck in that hockey stick up here. I just didn't sell because I'm too stubborn. I'm not in the business of losing money. So as it was going down, I told my wife, I got to keep doing this because I think it's going to be something great. And from 2018 to March 25th, 2021, I just been dollar cost averaging the whole time. And it's a slower process. It's not as sexy and exciting, but the gains are real. And that's how I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes the sexy and exciting is a quick way to lose a lot of money. So I'm with you there.
And a marriage.
Yeah.
And a marriage. And we all know that, right? It's everybody's promising the greatest of all time. But it's just, I was watching Hashoshi on his channel. He had another gentleman on, and he said, you know what? I just dollar cost average or value cost average, and then I just wait. And he's like, what else do you do? That's it. That's all I do. So that's how it goes.
Yeah. So do you have a specific way of managing your mindset and your psychology when you are, looking at the market and its fluctuations going up and down, because you've had that experience of getting in at the potentially the wrong time and in the short time frame, right? In the longer term time frame, it wouldn't have made a difference.
Well, before I answer, let me ask both of you the same question. When did you guys get into crypto? And how hard was it the first month or so when you were in?
For me, it was, I got into crypto. I can't remember what year it was. It was $5. I bought I bought some for $5 and sold it for 20, thinking I had done really well.
Yeah,
And
right.
then several years later, walked away from it, and then I came back into it about almost a year and a half ago, and I just started dollar cost averaging. Every single time I had money, I just bought some more.
Great. All right. And then Teresa, how about you? When was it and how hard was it?
Yeah, I actually had been in Forex trading, 15, 20 years ago, and then actually left it for quite a number of years. And when I got back into trading, that's when I discovered crypto. And that was a really fascinating journey for me, because it was kind of like when I was first trading, we were still horse and buggy, and somewhere in between they invented the Lamborghini. And now not only was I relearning trading, but I was relearning all these amazing tools that were so much more sophisticated than anything we had when I was originally Forex trading. So that was kind of fascinating. And, the first month I got back into it, I doubled my money like that. And then freaked myself out so badly that it was like a while to get back on my feet,
Yeah.
So it was an interesting experience coming back to it, actually, and really fascinating to watch it. Mostly, I'm a real believer that trading is 20% strategy, 80% psychology, and when I lose money, it's always, I took myself out in some way, which is one of the reasons we were motivated to start this channel, because we really wanted to dive into the conversations a lot of YouTubers aren't having, which is, how do you master your mindset so that you can be in the upper 1% of traders?
Yeah, that's a big thing. It's like my friend Mullet says. He goes, it's amazing how a bad trade becomes a long-term hold pretty quickly. And I'm like, yeah, that's very true. So
Yeah,
you never
very
really
true.
lose it. You just go, oh, well, I'll just hold on to that for a while. So yeah, this is great. So, Teresa, Nicola, this is good that you guys have this channel. Then you can actually talk to people about the Forex trading, and then as it kind of relates to here, because a lot of people in this space, it's all about like, I learned TA on a website, this is what I got, and then off you go. But there really is more to that, because on even on my channel, I'll read through the comments, especially on these down days. I see people getting wrecked and wrecked and wrecked because they're new to trading. They don't really know what's going on, or the worst ones, or they use leverage trading 10, 50, 100x. And they're like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm like, I don't know either, man. That's just a tough spot.
Yeah. We hired a mentor. I mean, both of us are in the world of speaking and training, and I'm a business mentor in our real jobs, and we're businesses in that space of a lot of coaches and mentors. So just about anything I want to do, a habit of mine of going, well, who can teach me how to do it, which goes back to what you had said, so I can learn from your mistakes and not waste a lot of time and money and opportunity making my own mistakes.
Yeah, I think that's maybe why I have so many subscribers, because I have made so many mistakes. People just come to me and like, well, I'll just learn from this guy because he messed up constantly.
Exactly.
So Rob, how do you deal with your emotions when you've lost a trade or lost a lot of money? Like what strategies do you have for bouncing back and not getting stuck in the loss?
The first thing was realizing that you should never FOMO in. You never should just go, well, because everybody's doing this, then I should just be a lemming and then jump right in. When you do your own research and take a look at it, when you actually buy into something, let's take a Voyager, for example, right? I am a heavy believer into Voyager because of the tokenomics, because of Metcalfe's law, because of everything they're actually doing and the loyalty program, everything else. So when I invest into something like that and I see it goes from, at first it was 29 cents and $1, then 3, then 5, then 7. Well, now it went back to 4.50. So when I look at that, the emotions kind of get out of it, because I'm like, well, I know the fundamentals of what they're trying to do are good. I know that as things pick up, like when they have this token swap at the end of April, early May, when they start to do the cryptocurrency to stocks exchanging, when they start to really do that 7% APR as far as for staking, I don't have a problem with that. The problem that I get caught up in, what I talked about before, is making sure the exit strategy that I have is there and I actually follow through and actually make those sales. Because when I don't do that, and then I miss out on it. It goes down. That's when it hurts. And to answer your question, how do you deal with the emotions? You just look at yourself and go, you messed that up. You need to do better next time. And that's really how it comes down to.
So a little self pep talk.
Yes, exactly. Because you've only got you to blame and you to thank. And that's really what it comes down to.
Do you have favorite indicators that you go to help you make your decisions on whether the price is going up or down, or where it's going and when to get in on it?
See, now you two ladies are the traders. I'm not the traders. What we do is, like for me, I do a little bit of trading, like 3 to 5% of my portfolio. And we do this thing called Trinity trading, where we take sentiment analysis from Trade the Chain, we take technical analysis from the guys at Market Rebellion, and then I just do some fundamentals. So we do all those things and go that way. I mean, in the beginning, when I would look at the RSI and just go, oh, well, this is just totally overbought. There's no way. But if you take a look at Bitcoin back in 2017, it was like, the RSI was, above 70 for, how many days? 60, 70, something like that, something crazy. So some of these indicators that the limited amount that I know of, I'm just like, I don't even think that they're really good. So on that case, not many.
Cool. That's pretty simple though. It's great.
I try to simplify my life as much as possible.
Yeah.
I love it. Top 3 favorite altcoins that you might consider selling off hard when we go into the bear market.
These are the ones that, well, first of all, I have a lot of different coins that I invest into because I thought they were going to be great. Remember EOS?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be like the end all be all, and it was going to be fantastic. And of course, everybody's watching this video is like, how dare you talk about EOS? That's my #1 hold. Sorry. I will definitely be selling that like crazy. And then, what is it? Remember Tezos, for smart contracts, the husband and wife team? I'm sure they're going to do great, but I don't really see them as really getting into the big thing. So that will probably be one of the ones that will cut loose. And then I know, if you really want to get a lot of hate, talk about XRP. So I'll talk about XRP. The XRP army, I do love these guys because there is one thing that I'm always amazed at, that this asset has persevered through an SEC lawsuit. Yeah. That to me is amazing that it's still there. And even my friend CJ over at Market Rebellion says, he goes, always pay attention to the assets that don't go away, that should have tumbled very hard. And he goes, XRP is one of those. However, for me, I have a big problem with them being caught up in this. It's not about being a security or not. I think it's all about timing and momentum. So as they start to get out of this, they've already had MoneyGram kind of cut ties with them. They've already had the delistings. Maybe they get relisted. So I think the thing that it does, cross-border payments, on-demand liquidity, I think they might get passed by. So that's probably one of the ones I will also cut loose and just go from there. Now, of course, the XRP army, Rob, you're a moron. You don't understand. It's going to be great. Sure, it's the standard. Yes, but that's one of the ones I think I'll.
Feel free to disagree with Rob in the comments.
Thumbs down if you don't like it. I actually sold out my Tezos for XRP and did really well with that because I didn't feel Tezos was going to take off and excite me as much as all of it.
I know, right? It just sounded so great. Just what it is. But then, if you take a look at like the people behind it, right? And then who is leading the charge? And then, we know as far as like businesses, like what kind of leadership do you have? How can you steer the ship? What kind of partnerships can you make? And how can you make this thing grow so it's not going to be here in 1, 3, 5 years? And we're talking about like a very long time. And just look at some of the first movers in the space. Remember Netscape Navigator? How great that web browser was? Where is that now? Yeah. Remember MySpace? Whatever happened? So
video.
Yes. So first movers in tech spaces sometimes is not a huge advantage. So, but we'll see.
Interesting. So, newbie question.
Sure.
If you were starting all over again, what would be the first thing that you would do that you recommend people research to consider doing?
First, go to danteachescrypto.com, 100% free website. You can learn all the stuff about cryptocurrency digital assets. Shameless plug. The other thing, as far as like talking about like what they need to learn about cryptocurrency, was that the question? First of all, why do we need to buy Bitcoin and store it as opposed to just buying a paper Bitcoin from a PayPal or from an eToro? What is the difference in that? So if you take a look at these types of things, and also what gives value? Also, why is all this money printing? Is this going to be good? Is this quantitative easing going to be fantastic for the country? Or is it going to dilute everything? And what does that mean for the reserve currency around the world? That's just I guess a very bigger play. But if you just want to make it simplified, just look at the project or any kind of project that you're looking into and go, what does this do? And why is this needed? Is it really something that could be used in the future? That's all.
Awesome.
Beautiful. Rob, what are your favorite crypto exchanges for the United States?
Oh, it's easy. It's Voyager. So, Voyager is easy because what's one that's, have you ever used KuCoin?
No.
I use KuCoin sometimes when it's like very hard cryptos to get. And it's one of the few US ones I can use. Or like a Coinbase Pro. I think, for a former Forex trader, Coinbase Pro would be like right up your alley. Like you got all these great tools, you can do these things, RSM, all these different, Bollinger Bands, sure. But for like the average Joe and Jane, I think all they want to do is just go, okay, I got 2 jobs. I got 3 kids running around. I got to take them to soccer practice. I don't know what's going on. I just want to buy this stuff. Where do I buy it? Just go to Voyager, Bitcoin, buy, done. And that's all they really want. It's as simple as that. I think Coinbase, if you want to make it simple, Coinbase is also one of the easiest you can possibly find. The problem is that if you have any problems, the customer support is just awful and lagging. Hopefully with this new IPO, maybe we'll get that fixed. I have no idea. But Coinbase is super simple. Fees are a little bit high. That's why I like Voyager, because it's a brokerage. It's like the hotels.com of exchanges. It just, says, hey, which one of you has the best one? And then off you go. Also, I like Kraken. Just because, they're doing a lot of things as far as like becoming a cryptocurrency bank. And Gemini, also super easy. So those are the ones that I recommend.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Rob, you are so generous with your knowledge. We love watching your channel every day. Thank you so much for being here with us on Conscious Crypto Traders. It was just a joy to have you on the channel today.
Thank you, ladies. And then thanks for having me on.
Yeah, be sure to check out Rob's channel. Do you want to do another shameless plug of the name of your channel and also the website where people can find out more about you?
Oh yeah, I'm the king of the shills. Sure, I'll talk about it all day long. So Digital Asset News, that you can find that on YouTube, or the free website is Dan Teaches Crypto, danteachescrypto.com. 100% free to sign up. And I made this because I want everybody to join us where we're at right now. I don't want to have any hindrances. So like, if I want to charge for something like that, that's okay for like the US and Canada, but what about people in Sub-Saharan Africa and Bangladesh? They don't have the money for that. So let's just give it away for free.
Beautiful. I love that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing that. That's beautiful.
Thanks. All right.
What I'd like to do is stop the record here and then start a clean record,
Okay.
and we'll do a newbie question. Do you want to do the outro again though, just so it's smoother, or?
No, I'm gonna. We've got a recording that's just going to get spliced at the end. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. You're only our second interview on this channel, Dan. So we're still working out the bugs here.
This morning. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
well,
we're learning to interview together too.
it's great. I mean, look, great questions, great pace, great energy. Can't beat that, right?
Thank you. Beautiful.
Hopefully-
Okay, let me stop the record here.
Hopefully you can get a better guest than me, but okay. I don't know if I want to show this large balance of $3,000. I don't know if people are going to lose their minds or.
No,
see
don't
here.
worry about it. No one's even going to notice.
Just kidding.
Okay, ready? So Twitter and the price of Bitcoin. This is one scenario that we're fascinated to ask about. We're here today with Rob from Digital Asset News, who has over 200,000 followers on YouTube. Always exciting to have you here on the channel, Rob. Thanks for coming back with us today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Good times. Good times.
So Rob, one of the things I've heard you talk about is Twitter and how quickly news disseminates on Twitter can often affect the price of Bitcoin. Will you tell us more about this specific scenario?
Yeah, this one, it's one of those best kept secrets that's not really a secret. And that is that if you're looking for what really moves the market, it's news. I mean, we can do technicals all day long, and those work, those back us up, you know, for our assumptions and what we have. But if we want to take a look at what is really moving the market, it's just straight news. And it's pretty easy to get news from just a tweet. And I'm sorry, it's very easy just to put out a tweet as far as a news piece, as opposed to writing a blog post or writing an article, getting it approved by your editor, and then putting it on the website, or even making a YouTube video. So if you're looking for, like, you know, well, what's going on in the crypto space, just go to Twitter. And that's what I usually do to find some of the best stories and the earliest stories before most people know them. And then on top of that, I also use this product called Trade the Chain, which it's pretty simple. Alex Mascioli's product, and all he does is they just have a direct integration into Twitter, an API, and it just takes all those tweets and all the data from cryptocurrencies and digital assets and just gives it a sentiment analysis. It also does a scrape of all the different blog posts of the exchanges, all the different press releases, all the different websites from the top 200 or 300 different projects, and then just gives you all that data right there, and also gives you alerts for like big things like when is, like, I remember one just a couple of months ago. Remember when Filecoin got listed on Coinbase? Well, they have a direct integration into that, and they knew about that before most people did. So it flashed up on an alert. It came up on my phone, and I was able to snag it at around $30 before it went to, was it 78, somewhere down there? And of course, it just died off like that. So that's where the big thing comes from.
I think that's gold, because we all know that Elon Musk tweets have some kind of ability to move the market. You know, not so long ago, I think it was February, we had a big pump and a dump. And just yesterday, we had another tweet from Elon that saw a quick rally and then a very big dump afterwards. So having something on your phone to alert you to when Elon Musk is tweeting about Bitcoin or any other news story, I think would be gold. So that's really awesome. I wrote that down. It was called Trade the Chain. But I think we need to be following you on Twitter, because I know you will retweet and then follow everybody you follow on Twitter. So can you tell us what your Twitter handle is?
It's pretty easy. It's just at news asset, NEWS, and then asset, ASSET. And then, of course, if you go to the YouTube or danteachescrypto.com, 100% free website for crypto education, all the different links are there as well, including Trade the Chain. You can get a discount for that to sign up if you want to, or go to the YouTube channel or Twitter or whatever else you need. So it's all
Brilliant.
It's all right there.
Thanks so much. That's
beautiful.
Great.
Dan, you're always so generous with your knowledge. It's so fun to have you back. We'll have to have you back again really soon. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks, ladies. Bye.
Okay, we have a standard outro that'll go at the end of that one too. Let me stop this recording just to keep it easy for Jeffrey to edit.